Hello again, everybody. This is attorney Mark Brunner. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Talking Texas Law. Well, today let's leave the world of adult criminal prosecution aside and let's talk a little bit about juvenile law here in Texas. You know, I read an article recently, a kind of a sad case out of Illinois. A 9-year-old had started a fire and resulted in a lot of property damage and the injury and deaths of some individuals. The local prosecutor there in Illinois had wanted to try that 9-year-old child in juvenile court, and later that Illinois court ruled that they could not because the child did not meet the minimum age requirements for being referred for juvenile prosecution. Well, that's Illinois, and that indicates that, you know, every state is different. What's the rule here in Texas? What are the maximum and minimum ages that a child may be prosecuted in Texas juvenile court? Well, according to the Texas Family Code, a child is defined for juvenile law prosecution purposes as being 10 years of age or older, but not yet 17. Okay, so 10 to 17. There's also a little bit of an asterisk, a little caveat for those really odd situations where a child is now over the age of 17, but committed their offenses, their juvenile offenses, while they were still under 17. Those children too can be referred for juvenile prosecution for those acts. However, once that juvenile turns 18, a Texas juvenile court loses all jurisdiction, and the case would have to be referred to adult court. So again, the Brightline Rule here is for for juvenile prosecution in a Texas court for a criminal act, or what we call here in Texas delinquent conduct when we're talking about juvenile law. The child has to be 10 years of age to 17, no more, no less. Or if they are older than 17, they must have committed their delinquent conduct acts while they were still under 17. So if the child's younger than 10 or older than 18, no juvenile prosecution. Older than that has to be referred to adult court. Younger than that will be referred, can't be referred to court for prosecution. Perhaps the local law enforcement can refer that family for services, counseling. Certainly civil liability would be an issue if a 9-year-old, let's say, caused extensive damage or death through their acts. Maybe that family would be civilly liable in court for money damages as other parties may sue them. So that's kind of what we call, again, the Brightline Rule here in Texas. And Brightline Rules, that's the expression we use in the law for basically just arbitrary lines that the legislatures have drawn saying, you know, this behavior we're going to treat one way and this behavior we're going to treat another way. So something may be legal or illegal, just depends. Or in this case, you know, are we going to treat this child as an adult, this person as an adult, or are they being treated as a child in juvenile court? Or maybe if they're too young, they're going to be prosecuted somewhere else, not prosecuted, but that case will be handled maybe in a different fashion altogether. So again, a child could be in Texas, 9 years, 11 months, and 27 days old. They commit what's considered delinquent conduct. There's nothing a Texas juvenile court can do about that child. That child is too young to be prosecuted. Let's say a co-defendant, a few days older, a child who's 10 years and 1 day old, does the exact same act at the exact same time. That child would be across that bright line and could be subject to Texas juvenile prosecution. So that's some of the maximums and the minimums for a child to be handled or not handled in a Texas juvenile court. As always, this video is being offered for educational and informational purposes only. It's not to take the place of a true sit-down legal consultation and is not intended to offer specific legal advice. And unless you are already a contracted client of mine, I'm not your lawyer. Well, this has been attorney Mark Brunner. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Talking Texas Law. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving me a little like downstairs here on the bottom of the video with a little thumbs up. And if you do subscribe, you will get notifications as we post new topic videos on issues of interest here in Texas and Texas criminal law. Again, this has been Attorney Mark Brunner. Thank you so much, and I'll see y'all next time.